Good evening, Keepers of the Cash. Gary B, the Casual Comic Guy here, and as is usual on my Saturday broadcast, I have one of the best co-hosts in the business and a best host just in his own right, and a great pillar of our community. We have Metarog. How you doing, Roger?
Well, I'm sweating a bit after that. All those very great introduction and all those great adjectives. I'm like, ooh, but I'm doing great. But
well, you are deserving of all of them.
Oh no. It's always a great time to be on with Gary and the guests here on Tenor. Anything we can do to grow the community and show what people collect is a great show.
Absolutely. And this is a treat for me because I get to meet and speak with somebody I haven't had the opportunity to yet. And so we are going to introduce him. He is the man of the hour, the focus of our show. We are talking about Bobby De La Ghetto. Good evening, sir. How are you? And thank you for coming on the program.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. Great to be here.
Nice. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the crowd real quick, Bobby, and then we're going to go back over to you and let you give a quick introduction of yourself. But first, let's say hello to some of the chat. So we got TM Nerdy coming in first. How you doing, Travis? Good to see you, sir. We have my buddy Marcus. How you doing, Marcus? Good evening.
Marcus.
And we got Zach's Collections. How you doing, Zach? Another good supporter. And we got Circumstances saying today is the last day to nominate Gary. Oh, you don't got to nominate me for anything. Thank you, though, sir. All right. So, Bobby, as I like to do, now you don't have a YouTube channel, but you do have an Instagram account. So, just give a quick introduction of yourself and what you do on Instagram.
All righty, yeah. I'm Bobby De La Ghetto, and I'm on Instagram at Bobby De La Ghetto 1. And I just like posting my comics, and I do artwork. I do different type of comic-based artwork that I'm into, and just different things that appeal to me. I'll post it up there.
Yeah, I liked your die-cut Conan one you did with the Avengers.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
Now, so we're here. I'm going to guess you got 10 banger books to show us. Can't wait for the one with the story. But let's just ease right into it. Good evening, Jackson. Good evening, Inja Binja. Sorry. Oh, I did not mean to slaughter the name. I am excited to have Bobby here. I haven't got to meet him. So, Bobby, why don't we just lead off with your first book and we'll get it going, sir.
All right. This one here, this is my first book. This is the very first comic that I bought on my own. You know, it's coverless. I bought it off the spinner rack at 7-Eleven. I don't know if you can see it there, but yeah. I read it till the cover came off, but it's Fantastic Four number 150. And that's where I decided I'm going to start collecting these things. You know, they were back then. This was back in 1974. Like, I'm not good with time and dates, but I can see, from here, it's 1974. So I was like 9 years old, and I lived next to a 7-Eleven, and they had the squeaky spinner rack, and I purchased this comic, and from then I kept doing. I never stopped. Yeah, and then I drew my own cover for it. Yeah, after after the cover came off. Yeah, there's Ultron 7, the Inhumans, the Avengers, and the FF. All I think that's the cover it really deserved, was a two front and back cover.
Yeah, yeah, cool.
This was the one
with Crystal and Pietro. I know that comic very well.
Yeah,
That was the start of the rabbit hole for you, huh?
That was the start of the rabbit hole, right? I have two older brothers. They're 9 years older than me. Shout out to them. And they had comics. We had comics laying around the house. Like Richie Rich and Little Lulu, Dot, Hot Stuff, and stuff like that, and a few Spider-Man, Superman hero ones. But back then they were just in a box, we just threw them in a box, nobody knew about bags and boards or anything like that. It was back in the 70s. You just read it, and they were biodegradable back then. Everybody just,
they're like,
you had it.
Paper,
Yeah, I was born in 1970, Bobby. I understand that. You were just happy to have them and read them.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, Bobby and I
got into
time. That's cool.
Yeah.
I had this.
Yes, sir.
7-Eleven too. So that's cool, man. That's cool. I feel you then.
And you got Jackson Roykirk saying 150 was a continuation of Avengers 127, he thinks.
Yeah, with a crossover, yeah.
And Jackson got into comics with FF 155. So a lot of us around the same age getting into stuff. So very nice. That's a great first book. Now, how many times do you think you've read that over the years, Bobby?
Countless. I go back to it, and now I have this on the Essentials, the Fantastic Four Essentials, that whole little run that I got into. So sometimes when I'm feeling, I just lay down and rest, I'll break it out and just thump through that. And those, for some reason, I'm stuck in those stories in those 70s. I guess nostalgia reasons. Yeah, that those are the ones that I really cling to, those old, when they talk about that comic book smell and that's where it takes me back when I was reading these.
And I'm the same way. Exactly. I'm still reading my 70s books all the time. My 70s, my 80s, I'm bringing them out. I'm always breaking into the old Conans, the old Rom Space Knight was another favorite of mine. I read that whole series again. The original Spider-Woman I read again. I just finished reading King Conan again. Just love those books. And there was something special about the covers, the art, all of it just gelled together. It's funny because I have all these modern books and I probably have 2 long boxes to be read, but I'll still go back and reread one I've probably read a dozen times before I pick out a new one to read.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I'm in the same boat, sir. Yeah.
All right, let's get to number 2, sir. Let's see what you got.
Well, from the spinner rack, it took me a couple of years, but I discovered my LCS, and it's Clint's Comics in Kansas City, Missouri. I'm in Kansas City, Kansas. It's not that far from where I'm at, but I've gone to the same LCS for over 40 years. It's been a brick and mortar store for over 50 years, and I found it, and I was lucky. That's the longest running relationship I've had with anything is my LCS. Yeah, over 40 years. I've been going there, right? I found them and I would go there and I started going there and I started going to Comic-Cons. It took me a few years to get into that, but when I discovered that, I started going there. This is my second book. It's X-Men Adventures #1.
Good book.
I don't know if you see the glare there.
Based on the animated series, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the animated series. And it's autographed there by my man, Steve Lytle. He did the artwork on the cover.
Steve Lytle's great, and he was doing all those Marvel covers back then. Didn't matter the series. Steve Lytle was on it.
Yeah, he was on everything at that era,
Yeah, you had that.
I have to bring up my friend Steve Lytle because he was one of the first artists that when I went to these cons that I met. He was a local. He was from Kansas City. And prior to going to Comic-Cons, I had been, me and my brother, he was a big sports nut, and we would go get autographs from Chiefs players and stuff like that. And that was fine and all. But when I got in my groove when I went to the cons and I started meeting these folks, and Steve Lytle was just a down-to-earth guy. He would talk to you, well, here in Kansas City is where I'm kind of spoiled because the cons they were smaller back then, and you could just come and talk to these artists. There'd be a line, but the line would move on, and they'd just be sitting there by themselves, and you could come up and talk to them and pick their brains, and they were happy to meet you, and I was happy to meet them. But yeah, but Steve Lytle, I started looking for his art. He did a lot of DC, Legion of Superheroes, and he did Spider-Man, X-Men, Marvel Presents, a lot of those. And I just love his artwork. And the man was a great man, and he was nice as hell. And he passed away here a few years ago, just during this COVID time and shit. And, I consider him a friend. Yeah, I consider him, and so I would collect anytime I came across some books that of his that he drew. I would pick it up because I knew I could get his sign because I would meet him. You know what I mean? He was always there, and yeah. So I just miss him a lot, and this book means a lot. Yeah, like I said, Steve Lytle, and boom, yeah.
And he's one of the unsung heroes. They had quite a few of them back then. You had like Steve Lytle, Pat Broderick, Al Milgrom, all these guys that were on everything all the time, and they don't get mentioned as much as they should be mentioned in today.
Exactly.
They were the workhorses. They were the guys who kept the wheels turning on the comics, because if it wasn't for them, we would have reprinted covers and deadline dooms. These are the guys who were the workmen of the time. Very important to the industry.
Yes, they were. Yeah. Backbone. All right. Excellent book.
Yes, sir.
Number 3, buddy.
And then I'm big on getting a lot of people that have cover lovers and favorite cover artists. I'm a big fan of the blank cover. If I can, I like to get an artist to draw on it. You know, I come and if you can, you know what I mean? You meet an artist, and if you're lucky, you can strike up a deal and have them do a cover. This one is a Jeffrey Edwards. He's also a Kansas City resident. He's currently doing Godzilla Power Ranger comic. Well, he did this sketch for me. Yeah, I met him at my LCS, and he did. This is supposed to be of me, of my skeleton head and glasses and my goatee. Yeah, this is supposed to be Bobby Dillon, and on the cover of Deceased there. Yeah, number 1.
Now, when you got that book back from him, how blown away were you when you first saw it? Because that's incredible.
Yeah, it took me back. It knocked me on my heels. Yeah, because yes, he did a beautiful job. I mean, he really captured me to the bone, you might say.
And the shading on that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen him do his artwork on his YouTube channel. He is really a talent. He really is.
Yes, sir.
And you got Travis saying it looks like you, Bobby. You got Chop and Drop saying that's wicked. You got Ignacio saying Bobby De La Skeleton. Jackson Roykirk saying nice. That's
Thank you,
great.
sir. Thank you. And
looks like you're all set with the next one. All right, let's go.
Yeah, here's my next one on there. There's my Swamp Thing 1 signed by Bernie Wrightson. I was lucky enough to meet him.
Ooh, you met Bernie?
Yes, sir. Yeah. I mean, I've met so many great people. And for me, the comics was about the artwork more than the writer. When I was a kid, when I got into it, I mean, I didn't even look at the artist or the writer. I'm ashamed to say I just skipped over that. I just want to know what the characters were doing and who's fighting who. And, you know, I was more into the character base. But when I got older, you know, of course, I started looking to who these people that I like so much. But I was more art-based. I was driven towards, my favorite were George Perez, John Byrne, you know, coming up in the 80s. Whatever I seen them working on, I would go to it, you know, whether it be Marvel, DC, or whatever. And, you know, if I seen something they were doing, I would jump on it. And yeah, those were the guys that, and Bernie Wrightson. There's so many, like I said, I'm thankful. That's what I wanted to express on this, is that I remain humble and grateful that I got into comics when I did. Excuse me, I'm sweating in this mask, but I got into comics when I did, and I got into these Comic-Cons when I did, and meeting these people when I did. Like, if I can encourage young folks to go and I know Comic-Cons are expensive and crowded, you know, those are the drawbacks. But if you can get up there and make a memory, meet these folks, shake their hand, you know, because that's what life's about for me, is the interaction and stuff. Yeah. And so that's what I'm saying.
So nice.
Yeah.
Because I just met Keith Williams last week. I don't know if you both are familiar with him.
Yeah.
Instantly likable dude. You can't meet that guy and just not instantly want to be his friend. So nice. Yeah. So down to earth. His wife was beautiful and lovely as well. And just two great people. And it's so nice when you get to meet someone that does this art and they blow you away by being an even better person than they are with their art or their inking or their writing. It's just, you know, because you expect them to kind of be a little like, you know, celebrity attitude, and you just meet them and they're just happy. They shake your hand, they pose with you. It's just really cool. And I think
Right,
that's
right.
something that you get a lot more in the comic community than you do in any other kind of entertainment.
Yeah, agreed.
Yes,
yeah, sometimes
sir.
we have this perception of these artists, and these writers as our heroes. We've read and we looked at their comics for so many years. They almost achieve a superstar status in our eyes. I just met Mike Grell in Toledo earlier this year, and I didn't have anything signed. I just came up to him and I said, you're the ones who got me as a fan of the Legion of Superheroes. It wasn't for you, I wouldn't be the biggest as big a comic fan as I am. He put his hand out. Thank you for that. And the next guy came in. That's like you said, Bobby. That interaction is priceless. I didn't get a signature or anything. I got a memory.
Right. And I do a type of I recycle artwork. I take things and I turn them into comic-based things. And when I go to these cons, a lot of times I'll take and I'll present these to the artists or the writers and stuff. And, of course, they accept it gracefully. I mean, you never know when you give somebody something, they might say thanks and whatever. But a lot of times they do appreciate it and they like it. You know what I mean? And I ask them if I meet them again, did you put that in your studio or whatever? And they tell me, yeah, I have a lot of my artwork has gone out to different comic book creators and stuff. Yeah.
Cool.
That hopefully is still out there in their possession. Yeah. One of the ones I was having a bad con and I met Darwin Cook, and I gave him a Pez dispenser that I had zombied out, a Green Lantern zombie and he gushed on it and it turned my whole con around, and made it really, like I said, made a big memory with me. And so I can't stress that enough, that for me anyway, that's I love going to the comic community. For me it was only my LCS and the Comic-Con for years and years, until when the COVID came and all that. I discovered this YouTube and Instagram, and I got on here, the community, which in here, people talking about comics all the time, which I love it. I love it because, when you're at Comic-Con, you see a lot of people, but when the circus is gone 3 days, and then it's back to, you're just on your own again, no communication.
Right.
But now with this thing, I've met people all around the world, you know what I mean? They collect comics, and I think that's a cool thing, I'm saying? Right.
Right. We all share the same passion. Now, in your regular day-to-day life, you don't, like, your friends, none of your friends are into collecting or anything. So it was kind of like, once you met the community, you're like, oh my gosh, there's a bunch of people I can talk to about books I love.
Exactly.
Nice. I think we're all like that. I think when we all got on YouTube, we didn't really realize what it was going to mean and what it would do, just to have people to actually share the hobby with.
Right.
No idea. We think we're in these silos, and really we're actually part of a very expansive world. And like you said, Bobby, if it wasn't for certain circumstances, we wouldn't know of it. And and that makes us richer, and the community richer, and our interactions make it even more expansive.
Speaking of circumstances, there's Marcus.
He's a great guy. I met him, I seen him on Dank's channel, and they were talking, and I was out there in the chat, and they said, come on in here. And I heard, he was talking about Kansas City and like that. And so right away, because I was kind of impressed with the Portland crew, where, there's Bueller and Bullseye Bob and Jennifer and all those guys out there. Sam's Tangled Web, bro. Shout out everybody. I loved you guys. And I was impressed with how they were, in close proximity, and they all talked to each other. Well, I was like, why can't we have that here in Kansas City? I seen Marcus, and then there's Andre Panda, and he's over in Wichita, and Burt 54, he's in Manhattan, Kansas. And so this last con that I went to, it was a whole different thing, because I met these guys, but I didn't know who they were. I've seen them on these channels, but I met them in person. And so it was, and Nick's Kicks with Comics, he came all the way from Texas, down here. And so I was a little bit on edge, because I wanted to make sure these guys, they're coming into my town, and I want them to have a good time. And so like I was stressing over stuff I ain't got no control of, but they all had a great time. And so, like I just want to say, Station, I love you guys, man. The community is, like I said, it's a whole thing, and I'm glad I'm a part of it. That's what I'm trying to reach out and be more, I want to get these AOKs. I've sent some out and I've received some, and I think that's an awesome thing and stuff. Yeah, a beautiful thing. Right. I love it.
I remember when I got on, everyone was talking about AOKs. I'm like, what the hell is an AOK? I had no idea. I'm sitting there trying to think of all sorts of different things, and then someone was like, Terry, it's an act of kindness. I'm like, oh, okay.
Exactly.
Of course, you have in the card community, they call it a RAC, random act of kindness. All right, so number 4, Bobby.
All right, well, Fantastic Four is, 4 is my favorite number, but we're going to go with this one here, my giant size. It's a low grade, giant size 1. And if you can see, somebody wrote across the top of it there. It was Dave Cockrum. Yeah, Mr. Dave Cockrum. I met him.
Well, he's always been releasing covers,
So Dave Cockrum was another guy that was just a backbone of everything back then too.
Yeah. Right. His beautiful artwork. I love this book. I haven't sold very many books. I'm a collector, and that's I've never bought nothing through the mail, through eBay or none. It's always been my LCS, or I go on the hunt, in these thrift stores or half price books. I like going there. Vintage stock. We have those in Kansas City. And I go in the back bins, the quarter bins, you know what I mean? I'm always on the hunt. Yeah, that's the thrill for me. And like I said, this one here, I paid $20 for it back in the day, back in the 90s. Oh. And at the time, I thought I was overpaying. You know what I mean? I was oh, man.
No less.
Yeah.
Right.
That was money in the 90s, Bobby, man. Paying $20 for a comic, you had to think 3 times for that one.
Exactly. In fact,
now it's 1,000 times worth that. So
exactly. In fact, one of the books that I sold that I always regret, when you get seller's regret, was I had a Hulk 181 that I sold for $20. I mean, it was low grade with the value stamp missing, and I think it had a phone number written on the back or something. It was one that we had laying around the house. And I always figured I'd find another one, you know what I mean? But no, not to be and stuff so far anyway. But yeah. That was one that got away.
That are priced out of our range now.
Exactly. Yeah. And then
that's a great number 4. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that cover.
This one here is Neil Adams, which he signed here.
Homage to his giant size,
the Treasury, yeah.
The Treasury edition.
Yeah, Muhammad Ali.
Yes. I happen to have one of those, put away. But this was the one that facsimile that he did of that with Superman and Harley Quinn. But it's signed by Jimmy Palmani, Amanda Connor, and Neil Adams. Yeah, it's got a 3 sig on it.
Cool.
It's been funny too, because I've been going down the 90s boxing rabbit hole again, watching all the old matches I grew up getting on pay-per-view. 90s heavyweight boxing was the best era to me.
Yeah. Tyson
Tyson,
Holyfield, Lennox Lewis. I mean, just such great talent.
Yeah.
Those Tyson fights, those early ones, they didn't last too long, but they were good. Yeah.
Well, it's not till you're older, too, that you realize what a good fighter Tyson was. His defense was really good, and he was able to expose weaknesses, really. You just thought it was all fury, but he was a smart fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He could get inside of anybody and wipe them out. I mean, just a
he was one of the few boxers I continually saw put people down with body shots too. He would just punch somebody in the ribs, and then you just see them fall and go, "We're good."
Yeah, we don't want no more of that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he'd get through your long arms and just get up on you and give you a couple of good ones, and that was it.
Yeah, and that's it.
And I remember that, Louis, the pay-per-view parties, because we used to always have it at my apartment. And it was cheap back in the day, right? $50 for pay-per-view. But we thought it was super expensive. have everybody
Right.
pitch in $5 and come over. You pay the bill, but I mean, now if you paid $50 for a live event, you're getting out super cheap. You stole it from somebody. All right, we got Giant Size X-Men. We got Harley Quinn. All right, number 6, sir.
All righty. This one here, like, my favorite Marvel character is the Thing and stuff. He's the one that I identify. The Fantastic Four was my drug of choice. That's what I got into. Exactly. And then with DC, my favorite character is Batman. I just think his powers is the common sense. You know, to me, you know, his detective, he just uses common sense. But for some reason, I think I'm connected with Superman. I have connections with him in a weird way and stuff. And one of those ways is this comic here. It's Man of Steel number 105. Yeah, if you can see this one here, it's autographed. But this is the comic that I'm actually in. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Blue Spec. Yeah, I'm right here on page 9. Yeah. That's me right there.
Wow. Now, how did that come to be? You got to tell that story.
Going to another miracle of the con. I went to the con and I met Mr. Doug Mankey, and we just hit it off. We talked it up with him, and I explained to him. I've told this to a few comic artists that I would like to be in a comic. You know, I don't have to be the superhero. I could just be in the background, maybe Superman saving me, or I could be a crook. I don't care. I just want to be in one and stuff. Yeah. And he said, all right. He told me, all right. He took some pictures of me, and so I kept looking every month. Every month I kept looking for the book that he was working on when it came out, and sure enough, there I was. Yeah, he just, out of the kindness of his heart. I like to think that I give off, you know, that my passion for the comics, you know what I mean, that I put that out there, and that they might see that in me or something. But that was a big, you know, it was a jewel in my gauntlet. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was a big deal for me. Yeah, this happened in the year 2000. I've been trying to do it ever since, but I'm trying to get into Marvel, Dark Horse. I want to travel throughout all the comics and
get your Stanley cameos in.
Right. But it's not easy. But this was the one that I did do. Yeah, that's the one I made down. I actually did one. Yeah.
Wow, so cool.
Right? Yeah,
it's just really cool.
That was a big deal.
You got to have more than one copy of that, though, right? With you in it.
Yeah, like the song says, the cover of the Rolling Stones. Yeah, as soon as I seen it, I bought like 5 copies. I gave one to my mom, and you know what I mean. Yeah, I was. It was a big deal for me. Yeah, and then they came back through. I've met the writer again, Mark Schultz, Doug Mankey, and the inker Tom Nugent. Yeah, they came through, and I've got them autograph books for me, and thank them so much. And he told me that to look forward, I should be in another appearance in one of his books. So, yeah, I'm keeping an eye out.
So cool.
Nice. Yeah. I would wish for that one day, but I think my face would tank whatever book it's in. It'd be like the lowest sales ever. All right. I'm sorry, Bobby. Number 7, sir.
Number 7. Lucky number 7 here. This is my Defenders number 10. And this was one that I got from my LCS back in the day. It's, if you can see, it's a very clean copy, except for up here in the corner, it's got a slash through the 20 cents price there. It was in the quarter box. Yeah, I bought this for a quarter. Yeah, and I'm just like, I'm not picky, and I'm not when it comes to my comics, I love all comics. I love everything's comics. Yeah. Back in the day, you know, I didn't know about you know, I learned more from since I've been on these channels and stuff, but I just wanted the book, but I didn't care so much about you know, pressable defects or spine ticks. You know, shout out to you every guys. I didn't know about those. I didn't know about those barcodes. You know, that's like a new part of the hobby, right? And just like I said, I collected a lot of reprints and quarter box and bins, but this was an example of a beautiful comic that, yeah, from the quarter bin that I couldn't pass up. And if anybody out there has a chance to find one of these for a quarter, I say jump on it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, Bobby, about half my collection is from the quarter and 50-cent bins from the early 80s through the mid 90s.
Right. And I think people snub the dollar bins these days, and I don't know why. I've completed runs through the dollar bins, and you know what? The reads are just as good as the keys. You know, a good storyteller is a good storyteller, and when you're reading them, I don't know. I enjoy a lot of the dollar books more than I enjoy some of the big keys that people chase.
Right.
I mean, obviously, if they're buying the keys, they're buying it for a different reason, which is fine. But I'm a reader first, so I'm buying to read.
Exactly. And it's like I tell my friends, I made friends in here with the PCP Army. They kind of adopted me in. A lot of these younger cats, TM and Fable and Big Herm and Seb. If I'm forgetting anybody, JT, all you guys, love you, Station, brother Eric, all you guys. But they adopted me in, and it's like I tell them, today's dollar book, is tomorrow's key. You know what I mean? You don't know. There's always some. This character was, he comes back as something else now or something like that. So you never know.
The White Vision book was a dollar book forever.
Yep.
The Avengers West Coast book.
Exactly.
And nobody was picking it up out of the dollar bins either.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny how something all of a sudden has worth, and people are like, "Oh, it's such a good issue." Well, you could have had it for $1 and loved it just as much then.
Always be on the hunt.
Skimming through it.
Yeah. Go look through that. For me, that's like my form of meditation and stuff. When I go to these dollar bin boxes. In fact, when I was little, collecting. I used to have a reoccurring dream where I'd be walking along and I'd come across somebody selling books and some long boxes, and I would start looking through there, and I would find books that I've never seen in my real life. These were just in my head, heroes fighting each other. Wow, I never seen this before. You know what I mean? So I start picking up these books and putting them in my hand. And then all of a sudden it hits me like, how much is this going to cost? And right when I start thinking about money, boom, I wake up and damn, where'd all them books go? You know what I mean?
Trying to get back in your dream again, right?
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
Place there.
To go into, Oh, go ahead.
Oh, now when you go to the comic shops, are you one of those guys? You're in there for hours, like you go to the back issue bins and you're just searching and enjoying being with the books.
It depends. It depends on the mood. Lately, I've been on a back issue kick, and I've been going through some looking for some old school stuff because I collect new stuff too. I pick up new things, but I'm on that old school kick, like you said, and so I like getting back there and digging around and see what I can find. If I can find something at a good price, and I'll snap it up. Yeah, I'll snap it up. And it's true. Another thing is that during when I'm not in my superhero comic life, I do construction work, and with construction, it's feast or famine. So. When money's rolling, more books are rolling in. I'm buying this and that, newer books, older books, but when famine comes, books get on the cutting block. So, you got to cut down. So, but yeah, right now I'm working good. So books are coming in right now. Yeah.
Now, are you a run completionist? Do you have, we'll get back to your books in a second, but do you have whole runs in your collection as well?
Some, but not too many. I've got some full runs on miniseries and stuff like that. One that I know that I got a full run is the Marvel 2-in-1, the Thing team ups. I know I got all 100 of those.
100 issues of that?
Yeah. That I got for sure. You know what I mean? And I got big chunks of X-Men, Spider-Man, Hulk, Fantastic Four. Like I have every Fantastic Four story, but not every comic because I collected reprints and treasury editions and everything. But I believe that I've read every Fantastic Four story on the beginning, maybe not on the end of their first run, because right then it's got, that's when money was getting tight and they was getting, the whole, it was just a time. It was just a time right then. So I'm looking up some of those comics right now. I'm trying to fill in some of those those Fantastic Four later issues of the first run. Yeah.
It's funny because it took me 2.5 years to complete my Conan the Barbarian run. It took me about a year to complete the Savage Sword of Conan run. Plus,
Yeah.
I completed Rom and reread it because Rom was just one of those things that captured my imagination when I was a kid. I didn't care about the toy. I loved the stories. And we're talking about unsung heroes, and one of them is Bill Mantlo, who wrote so much and did such a great job. His stories were
Yeah.
so spectacular. Um, Bill Mantlo, Butch Geist, all these guys, but Bill Mantlo was one collections of because they can't collect them because of the IP license. So you either have the books or you don't. You know, but
Wow.
you brought up the Essentials line earlier, and for anyone who hasn't ever read an Essentials, because I have the whole Spider Woman run, but I also have the Essentials, and it's cool to read the book in color, but the Essentials are all in black and white, and it gives it a different feel. And it's not a bad different feel. It's just really cool to read those stories in black and white. And sometimes you can appreciate the art a little bit more because you're seeing the lines better.
I agree. Yeah, I have no problem looking at black. Like I love Everything Comics. I mean, shout out Everything Comics, Bullseye Bob and stuff. Yeah, but from pre Golden Age, you know, from Stone Age, you know, people carved on walls, all the way to Bazooka Joe comics. You know, I mean, I just love everything. Characters. I'm character driven and stuff, yeah, and drawings. You know, like I draw myself, so I don't know. I'm always attracted to that, and it's just you know, Marvel, DC, independent. You know, back in the day, we had underground comics. You know, my brothers used to have some of those. They were black and white, and
Right.
they were all different stories. There was some wild stuff. You know what I mean? Heavy metal magazines. You know, Mad magazines. You know, any type of things like that, I'm into. Yeah. Yeah.
And I miss the magazine format, Dobby. I know that there's some books like the DC Dark series, which is that size and stuff, but there's a couple out now, um, there's the Vampirus Carmilla, which is really good. There's Shudder, which is really good. They're horror books, but I miss like a book like the Savage Sword of Conan coming out on the monthly and stuff like that. Just or quarterly when they came out. Just great books. And there was something about that oversized format, which was just a delight.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, I've rambled enough. Number 8, sir.
Number eight is my Marvel Fanfare number 45.
Love Fanfare.
Yeah, I love it. And this one is just all pinups. It's all pinups. And I should have it written down, but I don't. But I have about 15 autographs or so in here. Yeah, that are. This is just a beauty that I love. Yeah, it's
a great con book, right?
Yeah, a great con book to take to the con, and when somebody's coming, boom, get that signed. Yeah, it's a great one. Yeah.
Yeah, I see a John Byrne signature on there.
Yeah. It's got they're signed on. John Byrne did the cover. He signed it, and Terry Austin, he did the inks, and he signed it. And then Norm Brayfogle, a great man who signed it on the inside, he also requested to sign on the outside, so I didn't, go for it. So he signed it on the outside. And John Romita Jr., yeah, who I met in '94. He was here at the last con in Kansas City, but I met him at the only con that I went to out of town was in Minnesota. It was the only con that I attended to out of town, and it was John Romita Jr. and Dan Jurgens was there. And it was a good time. I had a good time there, but that's the only con that I've been to out of town. So yeah, it's just all these local guys, yeah, that and we're kind of spoiled here, like I said, because we have a lot of talented folks that live in this area that keep coming through, like Scotty Young and Jason Aaron and Colin Bunn. They're I've met them several times because they live there. They're regulars at our Comic-Con. Yeah.
Jason
Phil Hessner, Andre.
Good Conan tale.
Yeah, and he's a great dude. He's a great, like some of these guys, all of them, I've given them pieces of my artwork and stuff. And so, yeah, they have it there somewhere with them,
Cool.
Yep. I did a Pez dispenser of Jason Aaron. I took a old Chewbacca one,
nice.
and I sanded the head down, the top of it, and left the beard. And I told him, "Here, man, this is you. I did a Pez dispenser of you."
Wow.
Well, how cool is that?
Clever.
Yeah. He seemed to like it. It made his wife laugh.
Yeah, well, maybe when she's mad at him, she takes it out in the Pez dispenser, not him. Goes and puts it in the corner. Little timeout. All right, book number 9, sir.
Book number 9. Let's see here. Let's go with. What happened? I got reshuffled. Oh, here we go. All right. Here's my Infinity Gauntlet signed by the Master George Perez. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you definitely, I would probably guess just from the few I've seen, you have a huge signature collection, huh?
Yes. Yeah.
Are both copies signed?
Yes, sir. Yeah, both copies are signed. Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Perez and John Byrne came through, and I met Mr. Perez a couple times, and he was just cool. You know, he signed whatever you brought up to him, and you know, when if you go to a con, you know, for folks that haven't, you know, just be polite, and I say make friends with the people in line. You're going to be there for a minute, and it's always, you know, you're standing there and you ask them, you know, what are you going to get signed? And they're usually more than happy to tell you. And so you make a friend by the time you get the line goes quick when you're chit chatting and you get up there, but be respectful and be, you know, like I said, it was just a great time. You know, the George Perez, man, he was just a nice guy, like I said. And if I could, yeah, this was breaking into the number 10 slot. Oh, here we go. This was George Perez, like I said. Well, this is kind of my holiest grail of my collection, but I was able to get a sketch from Mr. Perez. And I told him that if I was in the Marvel Universe, I'd want the Thing to be my son's godfather. So I said, could you draw the Thing holding a baby? So yeah, that's the Thing holding my son. Yeah, by the Master George. My favorite character, my son, and yeah, George Perez, all right there. Yeah.
Wow.
Awesome. I'll say it can't get much better than that. Holy cow!
Right. And his run is still him and John Byrne's run in Fantastic Four to me are the definitive. I mean, I know people are going to say Kirby or Buscema and so forth, but to me, they were unmatched.
Yes, sir. That's what.
And Perez and Byrne could draw anything. It didn't matter what hero you gave them; they could do it.
Yeah.
And they all look different. Like everybody looked different on the team. They had different hair, different facial expressions, and yeah, that's what
Perez got me. He colored it too.
Yeah. Perez got me into DC though. He got me into DC with the Teen Titans and his Justice League run. Because I like DC, but their continuity, it was always it wasn't always going together. But when I seen Perez and Wolfman go over there to Titans, I said, man, what is this and stuff? Yeah, and I started collecting all those and all the Teen Titans, all the Justice Leagues that he did, and whatever I saw that he would do, like I said, I'd run over there and pick it up. Yeah, because it meant a lot to me.
Same here, Bobby. Wonder Woman, when he started that after Crisis, all that, Crisis on Infinite Earth, I'm there. I'm with you 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Classic stuff. All right,
yes,
so you got number 10 for us, Bobby?
Number 10. I kind of got out of sorts, but this was a backup that I had here. This is a alien that Richard Corbin. It's assigned by Richard Corbin, another Kansas City
I didn't know
resident.
He did Alien ever.
Yes, he did this little run on Alien, yeah. And Richard Corbin, he's from Kansas City, and I didn't know that at first until I met him here at the cons. He was like, if I had a heavy metal magazine, you know, I enjoyed the whole magazine, but the parts that he did, it was the artist that I liked and stuff. Yeah, it was. I was drawn to it. You know, his artwork was just out there, and it was the colors, the art, everything. Yeah, big fan of him. And I guess he didn't really sign too much. People said that he was a little standoffish and stuff, but he came through here and he was signing. Yeah, so I have a few of his autographs. Like I said, that
everybody
signatures
has a
became a
bad
big
day,
thing.
right, Bobby? Maybe he was having a
Yeah,
bad day.
Yeah.
You got
yeah,
Beckerman,
exactly.
and he's got some Prez sketches: Sleepwalker, Thanos, and Speedball.
Ooh, that Sleepwalker
Yeah.
must be awesome. Yeah. That's a good
Hell
combination.
yeah.
Sleepwalker. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, so hold the book up.
Oh,
Oh, let's see. Just give them another peek at it because that's a great cover.
Yeah, Corbin.
And that's the first time I've
Yeah.
seen that cover, Bobby. I just
Yeah,
want to
me
get
too.
another look at it because I'd never seen it
Yeah.
before.
He
yeah,
had
man,
such
it's beautiful.
depth and lushness to his art. It just flew off the page. It was almost like it came alive when Corbin drew it. It's
Like
amazing.
some of his eerie covers, amazing.
Oh,
I agree. Like I said, he's another legend that we lost. He passed away a few years ago.
yeah.
But you know what I'm saying, that's what like I said, you know, if you get a chance to meet some people, man, go out and do it because nobody knows how long anybody's gonna be here, or you're saying it's just for me that was a big deal. It was meeting these guys, meeting my heroes. So I highly recommend it. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I met Keith Williams this year. Actually, Grell was up, but I just missed him, and I didn't get to talk to him because his line was so long, and I was helping work our little con we have here in Rochester, which artist Ken Wheaton started. It's really great.
Yeah.
Empire Fest. We've already had 3 of them. Really fun stuff. But I did get to meet Jim Shooter last year. I got to walk him in from his car, and you hear
Nice.
all the horror stories about people not getting along with him. But as someone that's just a fan of comics, he was delightful, man. He was a super nice guy. Talk to you. He's Chewbacca tall. I mean, you could look up at him for days.
Huge.
And just a super nice dude. And sitting there, I gave him $2. I had him sign the first Dazzler appearance, the X-Men 230, and I had him sign
Nice.
Dazzler #1. I'm a Dazzler fan, so get over it, everybody.
Yeah.
Me too.
I had him sign those, and like I said, you hear different stories. You hear that Jim Shooter can be this, then you meet him, and he's like the nicest person in the world to you. Had a great. He was super nice, but I haven't met anyone in the creator wise that hasn't been super nice. And I think sometimes they're human, man. You can catch somebody on a bad day, but you can't hold one bad day against somebody forever. Everybody's allowed a bad day.
Yeah, man, for sure. I agree totally. Yeah, I was lucky enough. I met Jim Shooter myself. He was a great guy. Yeah, nice man.
Yeah.
Same thing when I met him.
Very chill.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure he wasn't like that when he was running Marvel and Valiant, but he had to be the boss then.
He had to be the boss. He rescued Marvel. Remember, they were doing. They couldn't even be on schedule. Every other month there was reprints, and he was like, no more reprints. And he put them to the task and rescued Marvel. He elevated them over DC at that time. So we owe him a lot, actually.
Oh yeah. Another icon in the industry. All right, so an 11th one with a personal story, Bobby.
11th one with a personal story. Well,
and then after that we'll get into your spec pick.
This one, this isn't a comic book. This is a birthday card, and it's why am I not? It's signed by to me from Kurt Swan and stuff. Yeah, to my favorite nephew. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I met Mr. Kurt Swan, and he was just a great guy. And I like to get oddball stuff signed also. You know what I mean? I go for comics, and this is one of the oddball things that it means a lot to me because, yeah, he was just, like I said, Yeah, he was Kurt Swan, man. He was he was Superman. You know, I mean, back in the day, he did all those Superman stuff back in the
Right.
day,
Oh yeah.
and he was
Decades.
just a super great guy. Yeah, yeah. And
I know
never
yeah,
met him, but boy, I wish I would have.
And
yeah.
how fun is it for a creator like him to not just sign a comic, because he signs how many? You bring him a card that has his art, and he gets to sign that.
Exactly. And that like
Something
sparks a
unique for him.
conversation. Yeah, exactly. You come with something that they maybe never seen or haven't seen in a while, and it gives you, you know, some stuff to rapport about, talk about and stuff. Right? Exactly. Yeah.
There
Yeah.
you got Anachronic Comics jealous, and he's got quite the extensive collection himself.
And Biggie Shack is a huge Swan fan, so I'm sure he is just dying.
He's saying it right there, Swan all day.
Oh yeah,
Big fan. Yeah, Biggie Shack, big fan of his, man. He, you know, I caught your last two shows, man, and I was getting nervous because, man, Slim and Biggie Shack, them autographs of Slims and the keys that Biggie Shack have, you know what I mean? I was like, wow, you know what I mean? You guys, it's going to be tough to come on and follow that act.
he can bring it.
Yeah, Biggie had a good episode.
Oh, yeah.
It was. He's appeared on my channel twice now. Very gracious of him.
Yeah.
So that was your 11th with a story, and a great story it is. So what is the Bobby De La Ghetto spec pick for the audience? What do you think is worth looking at?
All right. Well, this one, I spec'd on this a while ago. The story behind it, yeah, that I've collected, like I said, for 40-something years. Yeah, when I was 9 years old, and I'm 50, about to be 57. Yeah, so I've collected for many years, you know. And but I've never, I didn't get into the slab game. I didn't know nothing about it, you know what I mean? Around here in Kansas City, the only thing we know about slabs is Rosedale barbecue, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Right.
I just didn't. Yeah. Exactly. I'd go to the con, you know, and I would see these expensive books slabbed, you know, $1,000 this and $500 that, man. And, you know, I just keep on walking. I look, oh, that's cool, but you know, yeah, you know,
window shopping's nice. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I didn't collect on a budget. I collected with no budget. You know, I didn't have a budget. I was just on a shoestring. Let me get in there and let me try to make some magic happen. Well, since I started with this YouTube, watching you guys and folks like you, you know, shout out to all you guys because they give me information. You know, I've been watching about slabs and grades and, well, you know, pressing and cleaning, you know, they was talking about dry cleaning. A guy was talking about dry cleaning. I was like, how do you know that? I started right away, George Jefferson, you know, how do you, you know, dry clean? You know, I didn't know, but I found out these things, you know, it took me a while. And then through the course of, you know, through this, when this situation hit it, my son and my daughter-in-law, and they had a baby and they convinced me that maybe I should, you know, slap some of these books and we can put them away from my granddaughter. You know, my son, he's educated on collectibles too. And so if something should happen to me, he knows what to do. But that's what I figured out is that I have a granddaughter now. And so she's got, I did my first submission, you know, with the help of my son and his wife. We sent some books off and it took over a year. I was part of the big bottleneck, whatever it was, you know, I was caught up there, but I got my books back, you know, long story short, I had 12 of the same books that I spec'd on. And it was, you know, supposedly it's these rare ones that are, they were this,
oh yeah,
maximum carnage.
Wow. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. I had 12 of these books and, so my son said, you know, send these away. So they came back from various grades, from the lonely 6.0 to the rest were from 9.0 to I had one 9.8. Yeah, I had 5 9.6s and one 9.8. Yeah, that's the one that's going to my granddaughter, the 9.8. Yeah.
Well, you sold Louis. He's a big anything Spider-Man fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Biggie telling you that's a good one, and the red cover is nice because it really pops out.
Yep. So I figured the 6.0 is going to stick with me.
Bobby?
What's that?
Are you a Symbiote fan?
Yeah, well, I'm a comic book fan. I love it all, you know what I'm saying? And Spider-Man, and I roll with him. And yeah, I mean, I got 12 Maximum Carnage is #1. So yeah, how could I not be a fan?
Right?
I
Very nice.
had 12. I
still
actually,
had to wait a year.
yeah, yeah. They cleaned and pressed them, and yeah, I had 12 of these, but I sold 2 since they came back. Yeah, I sold one on eBay, which I've never done anything like that before. You know, that was all new to me. I never bought comics through the mail. I never sold one through the mail, so this was all like a new thing to me. And then another one I sold at the con. I met up with Drew from Como Comics, and he's located out here in Clay Como, Missouri. And I seen him on TV, and I was like, he always talked about going to Planet Comic Con, and like I'm always there. I didn't know to look for him, so I looked for him. I found him, and I made a relationship with him, and we ended up I traded a 9.0. I traded my 9.0 for a low copy of Fantastic Four Annual #1 and a little bit of cash. So yeah, I came out of the con with some money. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, that was new and exciting and different for me. You know what I mean? Right? Yeah.
Did you get those
these
with video
books?
games or just the comics?
What's that?
Did you get those? Like, did you have the video game? Because they came with these video games, didn't they? Or they were sent away for
Right, correct. Yeah, you were supposed to buy a video game. Well, the story behind these was, this was 30 years ago or so. I can't remember if it was Ventures or Walmart. I want to think it was Ventures. Ventures is all gone now. But I was walking down the toy aisle, looking for action figures, looking around, just minding my own business. And there was a stack of these comics that were just sitting there on top of these toys. Wow. And they said free on them. I don't know if I took them all or not, but apparently I ended up with 12 of them. So wow. Yeah, they didn't, if it says free, I knew it was for me. So I took 12 of them and I put them away for 30 years. That's all you got to do is put them away for 30 years. And then, and so, yeah, I guess I was specking with that, much like Bruce Lee's fighting style. He does fighting, his is fighting without, style without style. Well, that's my, right. I spec without specking, right? I go for what I like, you know what I mean? Right. I go for what I like.
Well, if you're collecting what you like, you can never go wrong.
Right. Exactly. Always
be never disappointed. That's right.
Yeah, there you go, Louis. Yes, free it for me, baby. It's even in his name.
His name, free key, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we still have you here though, because I've never really got to talk to you. And you've been a reader for 40 years. What is your favorite storyline in comics? Like, what's the one storyline that you could read over and over again?
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, it's that's a deep question. You know what I'm saying? Right away, I go to the ones that brought me in, my Fantastic Four, at those years where I came in at 150 and the ones prior to that, I mean, yeah, it's just those runs. I don't know that the Thing and I don't know. Also the Jack Kirby, Stan Lee run, you know what I mean? Yeah, those early ones too. Yeah, I'm a big Fantastic Four fan. But I'm just all over the place when it comes to comics. Yeah, like you said, the Infinity Gauntlet, the Crisis on Infinite Earth. I mean, that was a great one. There's just so many. Yeah, that it's hard to pin it down. But I love, on the Conan, on those Conan that you love, the ones that you were where he met up with Zula and Bellet and the Black Lion, where he was up and down the Black Coast. Those were the ones that I really liked in there along those Conan lines and stuff. Yeah.
58 to 100 of Conan the Barbarian is my favorite run of comics.
Yeah, fabulous.
The Bailey years. Love it.
Gary, have you ever... I'm sorry, but I wanted to ask you, did you ever get a chance to meet Barry Windsor Smith?
Never.
Man, he's a nice guy. I met him. I got a few of his autographs. Yeah.
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 I would love to get his autograph, and I'd love to get John Buscema's autograph. Now I have Roy Thomas's 3 times. I'm waiting on 2 more books to come back. Never got to meet Roy. He's another one I'd like to meet. But I would definitely. I mean, Barry's getting up there too, so who knows how long I'll have to meet him. You know.
Right.
Of course, John Buscema died way too young.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But at least his brother Sal's still going strong.
Yep.
I wanted to ask you about this too. Did you know about those Power Records?
Yes, I did. Now,
Do you have a copy?
I have. There's a couple I have, and I have like a big record of it. And actually, Jackson Roykirk sent me a CD of them as well, so I can listen to it a couple different ways. But I don't know if I've ever seen. I have one. It's not that one though. That one I've never seen. That's cool. Now I'm gonna be on eBay.
And that looks like a Neil Adams cover, right, Bobby?
That's what I was going to ask you. That's what I believe. I mean, that horse and these guys down here look like Neil Adams. You know, of course it doesn't say on there, but yeah.
Yeah, he was contracted by Power Records to do a lot of their covers. So
right.
Exactly.
That's why
I have the 33, the 45 of it.
Yeah. I love those 45s. You know, those. I have the superhero set. And that was just, when I got into comics, man, I couldn't really, you know, it's embarrassing to say, man, I wasn't that strong a reader. So when I found these Power Records, they was like, they turned my life around. I was like, this is cool.
Cool. Very cool.
Bobby. Exactly, man. So yeah, I was wondering if you had seen these or if you had these, but I love these Power Records. Yeah.
I have because Jackson Roykirk sent me a CD of them. And after he sent me the CD and I listened, I was able to go out and get one. It didn't have that cover. Plus, I had a regular Comica one. But after he sent me that stuff, I've always been looking for it. And right there, see, he even put, that's a 12-inch LP I made for you, Gary. And he even put the cover. He even put the cover on the CD. So nice. It was a great AOK from Jackson. But the thing is I loved it and it hooked me. So I was immediately on eBay after listening to it and buying the real ones.
Oh, that Jackson's a dangerous man, I tell you.
Yeah. He sent you something great and then you want more.
Yeah, exactly. Never enough.
Exactly.
It's never enough.
No, the CD he sent was great. Like he made the jacket. He did everything.
Yeah.
I had that.
I have one too, Gary. Believe me, I'm with you right there.
Yeah, but I couldn't just leave it at the CDs. After I listened to it, I had to go buy. I had to start buying them.
Yeah.
That's awesome. The only reason I own a record player. That we have a record player in the house now, so I can play the Power Records. And they had Spider-Man. They had just so incredible Hulk ones. Batman, Superman, Swamp Thing. They just so many good things. And
Wonder Woman.
I have a Star Trek one, which I got, which is really fun. But it's funny because either it's just someone reading it to you, but the best ones are when they have the really bad actors acting out the story. It's really fun.
Oh, it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Especially like that person sounds nothing like Conan.
Yeah. Like the Spider-Man, the Conquistador, and he has like no Hispanic accent whatsoever. You know, it's hilarious,
right? Oh, it was weird too because when I got the Star Trek one, so this must have been before the show was cast, right? That they were making a Power. I'm not sure, but Uhura was a white girl in the comic. I'm like, I'm reading it. I'm like, it's Uhura. I'm like, that's not Uhura. And like the guy who was doing Scotty didn't sound, like he was saying, didn't have the accent. It was just like somebody. It was like somebody just got off their day job, and this is what they did at night. They just gave him the paper, like, okay.
Now, who's around the studio? You look. Come over here. Right. Read this.
He wasn't even trying. Yeah, he just.
Right. Instead of like being bold, like, damn it, Jim, I'm just a doctor. It was like, damn, Jim, not a doctor. just like spitting it out. All right, what you got there, buddy?
Man, if I could, I'll share a few more. This is Steve Lytle. This is Steve Lytle did this for me.
Nice.
And that's my skull there that Venom can't quite get a hold of because it's too much comic knowledge and, that Kirby crackles coming off it.
Yeah. Can't defeat that, man.
Yeah,
The Kirby Crackle.
that's my Steve Lytle. Yeah, that I've got a few of his pieces. That being in a comic and my original artwork is like my I mean, like when it comes to collecting, I really don't have no grails or something like I'm set out to get this or to get that. I find whatever comes to me, for the most part. But this is when I go, it's getting tougher, but I love getting original artwork. Yeah. And I love, seeing other people's original artwork and stuff. But this means a lot to me. I found that something as simple as paper and ink can make me happy. You know what I mean? This makes me happy. I come out of there and I'm just ecstatic. I'm looking at this thing and I just, man, I'm making up a story that goes with it. You know what I mean? That, this is,
right. It ignites your imagination.
Right. Exactly. And I mean, I know money is paper and ink, but this is what I prefer. I prefer this over money and shit. Yeah, I'm willing to pay money for this and stuff. Yeah.
Money is everywhere. That is only in your house.
Exactly. Right. And one more that I have is that Doug Mankey, besides putting me in a comic, he put me there where I'm shaking Superman's hand, where I was extra swole at my arms all extra big and I'm hanging out with Superman. Yeah.
Man, you are stoked, man. I wouldn't want to mess with you.
All right, looks like he's about to take Superman's suit from him and leave him crying.
Bobby De La Ghetto. Yeah, two Kansas boys just hanging out together. That's all.
Yep.
That's cool. And it's great that it's personalized. And when you're talking about the art, I do my Conan cover a day shorts, but every time I take out the books or I'm thumbing through them, I could spend an hour just looking at the covers again. It doesn't matter how many times I've seen them. I can just sit there, and there's some of them I can just keep looking at. The Barry Windsor Smiths, the John Buscema's, you're talking horror, the Bernie Wrightsons, right? The just so many great artists, and you're looking at these covers, and they're just little masterpieces that you get to hold.
Amen.
Exactly.
Yeah,
agree, man.
And the great thing is and half the reason I started my shorts was I'm like, if I'm going to do a short, my rule is I got to read the comic before I do the short. So I sit there and you reread all the books again. And I started doing Savage Sword. I don't have time to reread every single one of those again because those are like three, 4 stories in some of them.
Right.
So much fun going through. And you get lost just in the art inside the books as well. Some of the, like you were talking about Barry Windsor Smith and Bernie Wrightson. You'll be hard pressed to find two guys that fit more detail in their backgrounds than those two do. I mean, it's not just a panel. Each panel is a masterpiece.
Yes.
Agreed.
I would say Jeff D'Aro and Art Adams might be up in there with some detail in their backgrounds also and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
even George Perez when he did the Maestro to Future Imperfect.
Perfect.
I mean, that one panel alone in the Maestro's room, you could look at that forever and find new stuff.
Trophy room. Yeah, I love that. I love that story. That was a great one. Yeah.
It was.
I'm lucky enough. Yeah. Where they came to town together, Peter David and Perez. So I got my copy signed. Yeah. Those 2 issues. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And they said mask is off and you're drawing.
Yeah, I know it. If you want to get, yeah. My mask is off and my drawing. That's before I was masked up. Yeah, that was before. Yeah. I didn't really mask up till I started with these channel, you know what I mean? When Corona hit, they told me to wash my hands and put a mask on. So I was like, oh, hell yeah, shit, I will do that.
What kind, right?
Yeah.
Right, so let's get into that mask a little bit. Tell us the story behind that particular mask.
Ooh, yeah, it's well, with this channel, you know what I mean? With when I got on here, I seen where, you could be what you wanted to be. And so I always wanted to be, I've seen on here, some folks are pirates and stuff. Shout out to the captain, and some people are wrestlers and stuff. Shout out Biggie Shaq. You know what I mean? Well, I always wanted to be a street level anti-hero with cosmic awareness. So that's what, that's what my persona. That's what I'm going with, Bobby De La Ghetto. The name is recycled. It came from an episode of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and stuff. But the name, my actual name is Robert. But my family always called me Bobby. And this just fits, Bobby De La Ghetto. That's the name I went with. What's that?
I said it's catchy. You remember?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, it's my thing. It's a bit or whatever, but of course, I stepped into it where this is where Daredevil, he patrols Hell's Kitchen. Around here, I patrol Hell's bathroom and stuff, right? Particularly around the Devil's Toilet. That's a bad area, but somebody's got to clean it out. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he's messy as heck too, man. I mean, that's a job and a half.
See, and here's my baby picture, right? Yeah, when I was before, those are my brothers and me. Yeah. Even before I collected comics, I had issues and stuff. Right away, they knew I had issues. So, yeah.
That's adorable, though.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah.
The mask has evolved some, but I see the resemblance for sure.
Right. Yeah.
Now, do your brothers collect?
Well, my oldest brother, like I said, they collected, but they didn't, they bought comics, but they just threw them under, in a box. They read, they weren't really their thing. My middle brother, Brother Joe, he might be in the chat. He's seen how much fun I was having on here. He collected comics before, and he's gone with me to Comic Cons, and he's met a lot of these guys. He's just, rolled with me, and so he's got a lot of good autographs too. He's met George Perez and all these guys just from being, he was kind of just tagging along with me, but he's back in it now. And so where I'm like, I feel like I'm older when I hang with these guys, and I've collected for a long time. They look at me like, well, you've collected for a long time. Well, now my brother's in here, so he's in his 60s and stuff, and he's collecting. So yeah, that's exciting too. It's pretty good. And now my sister-in-law, who never collected, she's starting, she's got in with these guys, and she's collecting and reading too now. So it's become a thing. Yeah.
All it takes is for somebody to find one story they connect with, and that's it.
Exactly.
Go down that rabbit hole.
I have some of, the original comics that my brothers had, you know what I mean, that they folded into my collection, they're battle damaged and but, I love them, they're part of my collection, and it's what it is, and like I said, man, station, how out to my brother Joe. Yeah. Like he's out there, saying that they collect, but my oldest brother, he was more into cars, and he was just more of a mechanic. Yeah. Silent Tony, but he sees the fun that we're having, and, he's interested in it. Yeah.
Now, and you never stopped collecting, right, Bobby? You were saying you collected throughout your whole life.
I've never stopped throughout my whole life. There's times when money prevented, me from collecting. It was just, things get tight, and you got family, you got to put food on the table, and that'll slow you down. But there was a time when I got a little disenchanted with comics because I was getting older, and the Marvel had just launched Ultimates, the Ultimate Comics. Yeah, Ultimate Fantastic Four, Ultimate Avengers. And I wasn't digging it. I was like, these are like the same old stories, but they're putting new twist on it. And, I said, when I started collecting, I was younger than all these heroes. I was just, I was younger than Spider-Man. I was younger than the Fantastic Four, and the Chiefs, my team, the Kansas City Chiefs, I was younger than all them. Well, now I'm older than all the Kansas City Chiefs players, and I'm older than the people, the Fantastic Four. How did this happen? You know what I mean? Everybody's younger than me now. What the hell's going on and shit? Yeah.
Hey, we're younger than
And
the coaches. That's the way I look at it. We're still younger with the coaches.
right. And I wasn't digging it, but then I happened to go to my LCS and I seen Marvel Zombies #1, and I picked it up, and it got me back in. I was like, I can see now where these guys, some of these guys are getting deteriorated and falling apart and shit. And I was like, yeah, you know what I mean? I like this and shit.
I can relate to that. Yeah.
So I got back in with Marvel Zombies. I like that. DC Deceased. I like that. Dynamite, the zombie title they got out. I got into zombies. Yeah. And I got into zombie and action figures and stuff like that. I got this bobblehead here that I wanted to show you. Yeah. This is one that I did. It was Satchel Paige bobblehead that I took and I turned him into Deadpool. Yeah.
Wow.
He's wearing a KC Monarchs. Yeah, KC Monarchs.
It looks like it was always Deadpool.
Right? And he's wearing the red. Yeah, it came out good. But I do a lot of stuff like this. It's just, yeah. It's been a while since I did any sculpting, but I need to get back in it. Lately, I've just been doing a lot of drawing. I've been doing a lot of sketch covers and stuff. Yeah, but it's just, I have to create, an idea comes to me and I have to get it out. Yeah.
Yeah, but that looks great. It looks like it was just made that way.
That's what I was going for, man. Yeah. And then this would be something that I would give to a comic creator when they came through Kansas City, right? I would be here. This is from, me from Kansas City. And a lot of times, they usually appreciate it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And usually that helps if you're going for a sketch or whatever. They usually loosen up on their pins or, you know what I mean? They usually appreciate it. Yeah.
Cool.
That's go. So what is your favorite superhero movie?
Favorite superhero movie? I'd have to go with
it's okay if it's Steel.
I have to go with Deadpool. Yeah. I like the Fantastic Four, that first one, the first Fantastic Four, not the Corman. I don't know if I've ever seen that one, but
I've seen that one.
Yeah.
I've seen parts of it. It's entertaining, but yeah, it's like, I'm not, I grew up like you guys, with the Lou Ferrigno Incredible Hulk and Linda Carter Wonder Woman. Right. And I was just happy to see them on the screen. It made me think that, other people are into this too and stuff. So I'm not, I'm easily entertained and I'm just happy to see them up there. So the first Fantastic Four movie, that one meant a lot to me.
Hey, I enjoyed it too. So
yeah.
Hate on it, but I liked them.
Yeah.
Rupert was a good Reed Richards. I like Jessica Alba as Sue, and Chris Evans. You can't go wrong. He was a great Johnny Storm.
Right.
As good as the Thing. I don't know. That was a good cat. The only person I didn't like was the Doom guy. I liked him as Doom so much I can't even remember his name.
Yeah, he was miscast. It was that guy from Charmed. Yeah.
Yeah, he just doesn't have a personality to me, and it didn't come across as menacing. And they got to stop giving Doom electricity powers in movies, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that was not.
I agree.
Yeah, that's not his. He's not Lightning Lad,
Yeah.
Right. But so, what did you think of Reed Richards' portrayal in the new Doctor Strange?
I thought it was cool, but I didn't want to see him go out like that. Of course, you know what I mean. Of course, I figure they're going to be back. It's some.
That was an alternate universe anyway.
Yeah.
Right. I was just happy to see him, and come in, through the Doom time platform, and just it was, he looked good. I can't wait to see, the movie when they come out with it. I hope they do a decent thing. I mean, the last Fantastic Four movie was probably my least favorite, where the Thing wasn't wearing no pants. That one really embarrassed me and the whole world, I think, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's not our thing,
Yeah, the one with what's his name? The guy from the drumming movie, Miles Teller, that one.
Teller, yeah.
Yeah. I'm easy to please, Bobby, and even I didn't like that movie.
Yeah, that was hard to take. It was a mess, honestly, just a total mess.
You took
Right,
me out of the
man.
thing with no pants. Yeah, the thing with no pants right away. You lost me, man. Yeah, I don't like that.
Right? Gotta give the thing some dignity.
Yeah, man, right
Exactly.
away, man. Anyways,
We don't need to see the thing.
Right.
yeah. Well, there was
That's
nothing there to
objective,
see.
right?
That's what I'm saying.
We don't need to see that thing. No, we don't.
But yeah, he was you know, he had taken his vows and got his junk cut, so he no longer was in possession. He was a eunuch. Yeah.
Man,
Oh goodness. No, that's too bad. But hey, I bet the new one will be great when they do it. And same with the X-Men. Um, what I want to see, and I know it won't happen, I would love to see a Disney Plus series of Dazzler set in the 70s in the disco era.
yeah,
Why not do a timepiece? Why not do a time period show?
yeah.
You don't
Yeah,
have
why
to bring
not?
That'd
in a
be,
bunch of other heroes. You could have Dazzler, a couple baddies.
I mean,
And
WandaVision is essentially a time period show.
it is.
So
But
yeah.
in great music from the 70s, you could put all through that and just
I
be
want
great.
those roller skates back. Come on.
Right? Get a little Boney M playing in the background.
Yeah, disco ball.
One that I think, one that I think would be that couldn't miss would be a Machine Man movie or TV show. I think kids would love that and shit. Yeah,
Right?
If they could come
there
out,
goes 2001 Space Odyssey number 8, right through the roof. That's the pair. Now that Bobby has spoken, that's it. Go to eBay right now.
Right? Get those Machine Man keys.
Yeah, I'm saying, man.
A Machine Man stream here in a couple of weeks. So.
Right. Ooh.
Nice. Yeah.
So I'm
I think that.
Well, gents, we've been going for an hour and 20 minutes, believe it or not. So, Roger.
Donna Summers, yeah, that's a good one.
What have you got coming up on your channel, Roger?
Not much. I'm probably going to have a special video on Thursday. I'm going to actually be in Kentucky for a week. My wife has a conference, so hopefully I'll meet up with Bub over there, and I'll hit up some comic shops. But that's pretty much it. I don't think I have. Maybe I'll be on Four Color Fossils on Wednesday over on Graphic Man's channel. But other than that, not much.
Nice. So, and Bobby, everyone catch Bobby on Instagram. Make sure you follow him there. I have his link in the description below. So, in this Tuesday coming up on the 10/11, we have Lisa, Miss Tootsie's herself, Tyler's wife, on, and she's going to be showing her top 10.
Ooh.
And
Nice.
we got a bunch more scheduled. We did a special Saturday night with Bobby to get him on because I think I'm scheduled up till September, and I didn't want him to have to wait that long. But if there's anyone looking to get on the 10/11, all you got to do is let me know you're interested. Message me on Instagram. We will make it work, whether it's scheduling you 2 months out or doing a special Saturday show. Get a hold of me. I especially would like to get some women on the show. Every time I reach out, I try to include women, everybody. They never want to come on a program. Everyone is welcome on my show to discuss books and what they love. So
hit up Lady Fantastic. She'll go on for sure.
Who's that?
Lady Fantastic.
Oh, all right.
Carolyn will be on for sure. She loves this stuff.
Carolyn, you'll have to send me Carolyn, and because I'll reach out to both of them. Because I've reached out to a few, and I didn't even get a message back.
And Chibab, I bet you would be great on this show as well.
Yeah, and I sent the message to Inya, so hopefully she'll come on too.
Great.
Is it Inya or Inja?
Inja Binja. It rhymes, yeah.
Inja Binja? Yeah, I sent a message to her, so hopefully she'll come on. Because it looks like she's got a great collection of books as well.
She's a great
I want to hear from all the nerds. So reach out to me. Great show. We had a boatload of people coming out to support you, Bobby. I really appreciate everyone doing that. And Joe coming in at the last second like a superstar. Yeah. And guys, I just want to say thank you again, Roger, for coming on this Saturday night to help
My
out.
pleasure. Great to meet you, Bobby.
Bobby, I want to say thank you to you as well for coming on to be a guest. I appreciate you coming. And guys,
Thank you,
until
guys.
next time, keep it casual. Attention all, use channel sponsor Rogue Trader at theroguetraderutah.com and my code Keep It Casual for 10% off your comic cleaning and pressing needs. Remember, when submitting your books to be graded, use a trusted professional.